Lady Louise Windsor has technically been a princess since the day she was born, and the reason nobody calls her one isn't some palace oversight. It was a deliberate choice her parents made before she even existed. Imagine holding a legal right your entire life and never once using it. That's her reality. And now, with King Charles's monarchy reportedly running on a skeleton crew, the question is no longer whether she can use the title, it's whether she finally will. But here's what makes this story genuinely fascinating. The most revealing part isn't the title debate at all. It's what Louise has quietly been doing while everyone argues about it. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why some royal watchers believe she might be the most important young royal nobody's talking about. Before we get into it, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you never miss an update on this story. To understand why any of this is even a conversation, you have to go back to 1917. World War I is raging. Royal families across Europe are collapsing one by one, and King George V, Queen Elizabeth's grandfather, is watching it happen to his own relatives. The Russian Tsar, literally his cousin, had been overthrown. The German Kaiser was on the brink. So George decided the British monarchy needed to look leaner and less vulnerable. He issued what's known as letters patent, royal rules that carry the force of law, spelling out exactly who gets to be called prince or princess and who receives the HRH, his or her Royal Highness. The rule was simple. The monarch's children get it automatically, the monarch's grandchildren get it too, but only through the male line. Child of the king's son, you're royal. Child of the king's daughter, you're not. It's an old-fashioned rule that clearly favors men, and while it's been controversial for over a century, nobody has ever changed it. Now here's where Lady Louise enters the picture. She was born on November 8, 2003, to Prince Edward, Queen Elizabeth II's youngest son. Under those 1917 rules, that means Louise became a princess the moment she took her first breath. Not when someone decided to grant it, not by any special favor, automatically by law from birth. So the obvious question is, why has nobody ever called her Princess Louise? And the answer takes us to a decision made months before she was born. When Prince Edward married Sophie Rhys-Jones in June of 1999, Buckingham Palace announced something unusual. Any children the couple had would be styled as the children of an earl, not as princes or princesses. Edward didn't even receive a dukedom on his wedding day, which had been standard for a monarch's son. Instead, he became the Earl of Wessex, and the palace made clear his future children would be called Lady or Viscount. And the timing here matters enormously. Edward and Sophie married less than 2 years after Princess Diana died. When Diana lost her HRH after her divorce from Prince Charles, the public reaction was massive. Royal titles had become an emotionally charged subject, so stepping away from them for the next generation looked like the safest, most modern move the family could make. But here's the detail almost everyone misses. A palace announcement is not the same thing as formal letters patent. The announcement changed how the children would be styled. It did not legally strip them of anything. The right King George V created in 1917 was never revoked. It just sat there, unused, gathering dust. And that's exactly why Sophie, now the Duchess of Edinburgh, was able to say something remarkable in a 2020 interview with the Sunday Times. She confirmed that both Louise and her younger brother James still have their HRH titles. They were never taken away. The family simply chose not to use them. And Sophie added that when Louise turned 18, she could decide for herself whether to claim the title of princess. Louise turned 18 in November of 2021. She changed nothing. But the option never expired. It's still sitting there, waiting. And what she's chosen to do instead tells you everything about who she really is. Because Edward and Sophie didn't just skip the titles. They reportedly built Louise's entire childhood around one idea: that she would need to function in the real world. In that same 2020 interview, Sophie explained it plainly. She said they wanted their children to understand they would most likely need to work for a living. Think about how significant that is coming from inside the royal family. It's an open acknowledgement that for anyone outside the direct line of succession, the old model of automatic titles and ceremonial careers is over. The family lived at Bagshot Park in Surrey, a royal residence, yes, but far from the spotlight of Kensington or Buckingham Palace. Louise attended local schools without a visible security detail separating her from other children. She joined the Girl Guides, Britain's version of the Girl Scouts, and before university, she worked a summer job at a garden centre. You genuinely cannot get more normal than that. Now compare that to her cousins, Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie, Prince Andrew's daughters. They grew up with the full princess treatment. The titles, the HRH, being addressed as Your Royal Highness at official events, the security, the recognition. Louise experienced none of it. And according to many who've encountered her, she may be better off for it. The same words keep appearing in descriptions of her. Confident, self-assured, down to earth. At 7 years old, she was a bridesmaid at Prince William and Catherine's wedding, and observers noted how remarkably poised she was. At 18, she stood vigil beside Queen Elizabeth's coffin, alongside her brother and cousins, and the quiet dignity she showed reportedly went viral for all the right reasons. She was also said to be Prince Philip's favourite grandchild. The two bonded over carriage driving, a sport Philip helped popularise in Britain, and after his death in 2021, she inherited his driving ponies and carriage. She's since competed at the Royal Windsor Horse Show multiple times, even placing third. That's not a ceremonial hobby, that's a real skill built alongside her grandfather. There's even a telling detail from her LinkedIn page, where she reportedly listed her career interests as military, diplomacy, or law. Not royal duties, not patronages, actual professions requiring training and qualifications. Everything about her upbringing suggests she wasn't raised to wait for a title to define her. She was raised to earn something. But here's where the situation gets complicated. Because the monarchy she belongs to is facing a staffing crisis, her parents likely never anticipated. King Charles wanted a slimmed-down monarchy, fewer working royals, lower costs, a leaner operation. On paper, it made sense. In practice, it's created a real problem. Look at who's actually doing the work right now. King Charles and Queen Camilla, William and Catherine, Edward and Sophie, Princess Anne, who is 75 and has been considered the hardest working royal for decades, and technically the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester and the Duke of Kent, all in their 80s. That's it. Prince Andrew was stripped of duties over his association with Jeffrey Epstein. Harry and Meghan stepped back entirely, and William's 3 children are still in school. Then things got worse. King Charles was diagnosed with cancer. The Princess of Wales went through cancer treatment. Royal experts have pointed out there are only 4 working royals under 70. 4 for an institution handling thousands of engagements, patronages, and official visits every year. That's simply not sustainable. Charities that held royal connections for generations are quietly losing them. The monarchy is trying to do the same work with half the staff. And this is exactly where Lady Louise becomes relevant, whether she wants to or not. Royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams has described her as stylish and conscientious, suggesting she could be important for Prince William's future reign. His point was blunt. When William becomes king, he'll need help if the monarchy wants to continue its charitable work at any real scale. Other commentators have reportedly called the Edinburgh family the royal family's secret weapon. Hard-working, scandal-free, completely loyal. There's a role that needs filling, and Louise is one of the very few people who could step into it. The bigger question is whether she wants to, and what she's been doing with her time might answer that better than any announcement ever could. In 2024, Lady Louise joined the 74th University Officer Training Corps at the University of St Andrews. That's an Army Reserve unit for students, and it involves real military training, weapons handling, leadership exercises, navigation under pressure, tactical field work. This is not a photo opportunity in a borrowed uniform. She's completed basic Army officer training and holds the rank of Officer Cadet. In November of 2025, she was seen marching in full camouflage at the St Andrews Regiment's Day Parade, a serious remembrance event where units marched through town to lay a wreath at the war memorial. Eyewitnesses reportedly said she stayed completely focused, never breaking rank. And sources close to the family have told reporters she genuinely enjoys the training and is determined to serve her country in some capacity. Now here's the detail that makes this historically significant. If Louise joins the army after graduating from St. Andrews in the summer of 2026, she would reportedly become the first female member of the British royal family to join the military since 1945. The last one was Princess Elizabeth herself, her own grandmother, who served in the Auxiliary Territorial Service during World War II, learning to drive and maintain military vehicles, an experience she spoke about with pride for the rest of her life. Louise could be the first royal woman in over 80 years to walk that same path. There are even reports she might attend the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, where both Prince William and Prince Harry trained as officers, and that changes the entire title conversation. A Princess Louise cutting ribbons at charity events is one thing. A Princess Louise who earned her rank through genuine military service, who completed tough training and carries the discipline of a soldier, that's something the monarchy hasn't seen in nearly a century. It would make the HRH feel earned rather than inherited. While all of this unfolds, she's also simply being a student. Louise studies English literature at St. Andrews, where she started in September 2022. And unlike the media frenzy that followed William and Catherine during their university years, she's managed a far quieter experience. Now, in her fourth year, she's described as friendly and approachable, with no visible security team. She's involved in student theatre. She's been linked to a fellow student, though neither has confirmed anything. And she hasn't been touched by a single scandal or controversy, which in this family is genuinely an accomplishment. She graduates in the summer of 2026, and everyone will be watching what comes next. To guess where she goes from here, just look at her parents. The Edinburgh family has become quietly essential to the monarchy, especially through King Charles's health challenges. Edward and Sophie have absorbed more and more duties, earning a reputation as the monarchy's most reliable couple. No drama, just steady work. Louise's future might follow the same model, but there's a practical problem with that path. If she's going to represent the monarchy formally, the name Lady Louise Mountbatten Windsor may not carry the same weight as Princess or Her Royal Highness. Some royal watchers believe that if Louise takes on a formal role, she'll likely receive a title matching her responsibilities, possibly without any big announcement at all, just a quiet shift. Historian Gareth Russell has pointed out that King Charles appears open to adjusting titles as circumstances change, and there's family precedent. When Edward finally received the Duke of Edinburgh title in 2023, it changed how his children were styled too. Titles evolve, they don't have to be static. But what makes Lady Louise's situation so compelling isn't really the title at all. It's what the unused title represents, the power of choice, something most people born into royalty never actually get. Unlike so many in this family, Louise has the option of a relatively normal life, free from the scrutiny that crushes working royals. Her parents deliberately protected that freedom, and it gave her space to build her own identity. The garden centre job, the carriage driving, the military training, the literature degree, all of it chosen, not assigned. And now, as graduation approaches, she faces a decision that will define her future: remain Lady Louise and pursue an independent career on her own terms, or accept the title that's been waiting since birth and step into royal life. Choosing independence would signal the monarchy is genuinely becoming smaller and more modern. Accepting the title would show deep commitment to an institution that badly needs reliable people. Or she might find the middle ground. Graduate, possibly attend Sandhurst, build a military career, and let royal responsibilities and titles evolve quietly around her. What's already certain, whatever name she uses, is that Louise has earned respect through her character and her choices, not her birthright. And in a family that often struggles with negative headlines, that kind of credibility might be the most valuable title of all. It was never about the crown on paper. It's about what she built while nobody was looking.